The British coastline, dramatic and beautiful, annually attracting both locals and tourists to its shores. But when it can all turn in just a moment, who is there for those in need? Risking their own lives to save others,
the outcomes aren't always going to be positive.
Is a 24-hour rescue service made up of volunteer heroes.
Got you. You on?
Or we can in fact be out for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours searching for some people.
Providing support and assistance across the UK and Ireland.
The RNLI still to this day are amazing, they still contact us.
This is the RNLI. With over 238 lifeboat stations across the UK, the RNLI save over 350 lives each year. The headquarters is based in Poole, Dorset, and facilitates volunteer training through the RNLI College. Poole's own lifeboat station is situated just a short walk around the corner in Poole Quay. When the pager sounds, crew must attend the station immediately and change into kit ready for the rescue. With the duration of rescues often unknown, it is essential to prepare for all situations. A crew made up entirely of volunteers means many have full-time jobs that require flexibility in responding to these call-outs.
I'm actually really lucky that I'm freelance, so I can really work around, my hours. If there is a shout and we need to do a crew change, I can kind of be the one to come down if needed, because I've got that flexibility that some people probably don't have in a normal 9 to 5. I think it's so rewarding being able to help people in their times of need. You never know who you're going to or what the situation is that you're going to, and I think from kind of a personal point of view, being able to be adaptable and flexible to new situations is actually really rewarding. Challenges, again, the outcomes aren't always going to be positive, so naturally that's always going to be a challenge. Everyone's human at the end of the day. People are going to be affected by things differently, but in those times where it hasn't particularly gone positively or well, that is when the crew really does come together. We are so close-knit, and I think being in situations that aren't kind of the norm brings that kind of close-knit community together, and that is really special. I've had a personal shout that, like I say, wasn't expecting, and that was memorable, and also a challenge as well, because it was personal, but it was also kind of from this rescue perspective as well. You don't kind of really realise that it's happening to you until you're almost in that situation, so nothing can kind of really prepare you for that. So
With over 5,700 lifeboat crew in the RNLI, an essential coordination team is necessary to monitor the lifeboats across the country.
I'm the ops room manager, so I run the day-to-day function of the ops room. But our primary function is to provide support to anybody across the organisation and give them information, pass information, escalate any incidents or taskings that's occurring. On a day-to-day function, we speak to the Coast Guard regularly through the summer. As the tasking authority, they tell the lifeboat where they're going, tell them the search patterns, tell them what they're looking for. Our function in here is to gain that situational awareness and get an understanding of how long that lifeboat might be out, or they might be searching for a prolonged period of time, or there's a number of assets that's being tasked to that incident specifically. And for us, we can gather that information and then we pass it out to the relevant people who are out on the coast. I always try to explain it's like a circus, and you spin one plate and then another one, you have to keep the plate spinning each time. So for us in here, we have to prioritise how the information is coming in, what information is coming in, and how we pass that out and escalate accordingly.
Poole headquarters is also home to the RNLI College, providing the essential training to all of the volunteers across the RNLI teams. There are specialised rooms for the training sessions too, simulating the conditions that might be expected out on a real rescue.
So job as a lifeboat trainer,
is mainly to teach seagoing crew roles from seamanship, as sort of basic introduction to knot tying, towing, veering, sort of safe to go on service almost. Teaching boat handling, navigation, so that's paper charts, chart plot and radar. SARNAV, which is the search and rescue side now, so search planning, and then on to command courses as well, which teach them then being in command of the lifeboat. So Sea5 Poole, it's the only mandatory course seagoing crew have to do, and it incorporates capsize of the lifeboats, how to safely rewrite the lifeboat if possible, and entrapment drills. So we can shut down these shutters behind us, turn out the lights, waves. We've got a few different patterns we can set up to cause quite a confused sea state. So during our sort of life raft training, it becomes quite realistic to what you might be expected at sea.
Some RNLI staff also volunteer for the station. Alongside his role as the operations room manager, Steve has also been a dedicated volunteer at the RNLI for over 18 years.
So my line manager is very supportive, so when the pager goes, she's more than happy to allow me to go down and attend the station. Depending on work and where we're at or what we're doing or what I'm dealing with, then that dictates whether I sign on and stay on the page or in fact have to sign off for that period that I'm busy at work. But working for the RNLI, they're very understanding when the pager does go. When people are on the pagers, we expect that the lifeboats to hit the water within 10 minutes. It's not always the case, but crew will work or live within a 5 or a 10-minute drive down to the station. They'll either cycle or run wherever is closest to the station. The pager will go off, they'll come to the station, and depending on what the tasking is, what the incident is, then the correct crew for the job will get picked. If it's a person in the water, then generally it's the first 4 people, or the first load of people that come in to take the lifeboat out to sea safely. But it's not a mad rush, it's not panic, it's controlled. So Poole, we are one of the busiest non-full-time stations right across the organisation. We've got 238 stations and we're one of the busiest. We definitely notice an increase of incidents, generally between March, Easter time, all the way down to sort of October. We don't just go out to broken down yachts, we don't just go to paddleboarders, we don't go just to kite surfers. We go to a whole world of different types of incidents when we come here. I think if any crew member says that there isn't an emotional thought process that each of us go through, then I think they're lying. Every job doesn't always go to plan. We will have a very thorough debrief in the station so we can get certain things off our chest straight away. But there's been plenty of jobs that I can think of that have that emotional tie. A couple of years ago, we had an individual, 18-year-old. He sadly drowned up at Rockley. His name was Callum, and I wasn't afloat for the first few searches, but a week after we went out and recovered Callum. The brother and the family, they came down, and I had quite a moment when I realised that Callum actually had a twin. But out the amount of years that I've had these types of incidents, Callum will stay with me for the rest of my life.
Are you ready?
Yeah. So we come on a family holiday. The only reason we went Dorset is because we had a massive family holiday booked abroad, but with Thomas Cook going under, my stepdad recommended to go down to Poole. So everyone went to our caravan, got ready and all stuff. Me and my older brother Sean was in the caravan. Callum come running in. "Oh Ryan, I'm gonna rub some of your shorts in your top." I was like, "Nah, you can't do that." He went, "Well, I already have," and ran off. Whilst I was shouting, "Oh, I'm gonna tell Mum." About half hour into the holiday, I walked down to the beach. About 20 minutes. I went down, and there was a calf near. And I said to Callum, "Do you want a drink?" He went, "Yeah, I'll have a Sprite. I'll have an ice cream." So I went and got home. But as I've come back out the calf, all I heard my eldest brother go, "They've gone." And I went, "What do you mean they've gone?" He went, "They're gone. Look over there." And as I've looked over the wall, they were all just in the middle of nowhere in the water struggling.
Callum had been swept out by a riptide, and in a final act of heroism managed to push his young nephew up out of the water onto a boat. Despite the determined efforts of the RNLI, Callum was tragically not recovered in time.
The RNLI still to this day are amazing. They still contact us and stuff, so yeah, they were amazing throughout them 5 days mainly. The community come together, they brought us clothes, hot drinks, food. They were amazing, like, the community. We still speak to a lot of them today. Like when we go down on Callum's anniversary, they'll come meet us, they'll put flowers down throughout the year, send us pictures. We've come to the conclusion we're not carrying on Callum's Day this year, we're going to have a break as a family. But Callum's Day is just pretty much have the best day, as Callum would, you know, spend time with your family, your friends, you know, be having a laugh, having a joke. It's a long, long day of football. But yeah, it's just to raise money and to give it to the RNLI, because they're charity-based funded, so they don't get nothing off the government. It's just donations, and to give them the equipment to save another life, we just did that for them, and hopefully it pushes them to get more equipment to save more lives, and that's what we want, to save more lives, because they did the best that week, and we recognise that, and hope they can obviously save a life, and if not save a life, help a family go through what we went through like they did with us.
Every day across our coastlines, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution stands ready to respond when lives are at risk. With its team of volunteer heroes, this charity need our support to continue saving our communities.